I fucking love weird anime. Call me a poser, a pretentious motherfucker, or just accept the fact that we, as a community, should be ashamed by making this more popular than this. Don't get me wrong, I understand that if my sole purpose of existence was not digging through endless piles of garbage in order to find a hidden gem once a year, then I would also probably choose to watch a straight-to-the-point show full of hype fight scenes and characters I'd gladly let step on me. Not a 2001 6-episode show made by people that really like to not be sober. Each time I come upon an anime with a title like Wonder X Priority, Angel's Egg, or Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, I can't stop wondering whether they're gonna teach me how to cook a godlike omelette, or if I'm about to witness the greatest 12 episodes of storytelling that are gonna change me as a person, only to then disappear off the face of Earth and never get a second season. But it's exactly this feeling of mystery that sneaks behind me, drops down my pants, and tickles my balls just enough to skyrocket my anticipation.
With anticipation.
That is what still gives me the motivation to watch seasonal anime. Initially, this last season seemed to kinda lack something that could tickle my balls, being, as usual, mostly filled with isekai, generic romance shows, and a couple of big series coming out with new seasons.
This is boring.
And honestly speaking, that made me kinda sad. Having almost lost hope, I've decided to take another look at this season's entries, just in case I missed something. And well, turns out I did. Train to the End of the World became my light at the end of the tunnel. This is Yoka, and she doesn't know yet that she's about to fucking cause the apocalypse. One day, as she was about to take a train at the Ikebukuro station right in the middle of Tokyo, she gets abducted by a drone-powered owl that brings her to the top of a skyscraper, where they're holding the 7G network launch ceremony. The host of the broadcast and the head of the 7G spread committee explains that she's the 77,777th person that happened to pass by? So naturally, she's been chosen to activate the 7G network. Remember back in the day when people were absolutely losing their minds, freaking out about the dangers of 5G towers? The apocalypse is upon us, they said, and it has come in the form of faster internet, they kinda omitted. Folks would burn down towers because they were supposedly linked to the spread of the coronavirus, used to control the minds of innocent people, yada yada, in the meantime promoting slogans like 5G, the G stands for genocide. I'm not joking, they actually did it. All bullshit, right? Well, not this time around. Yoka pushes the button and the entirety of Japan morphs into a Hieronymus Bosch painting. The explosion drastically alters the terrain, causes absurd mutations in people, and, well, basically rearranges all the basic rules of nature. You know, watching this series, there are many questions that might come to your mind. For example, why did everybody in this town turn into a Jesus statue that is bound to spend eternity standing in the same spot? Why did the people of this town turn into goats that charge at you with no good reason? Or maybe, why the people of this village all turned into zombies that can only be killed if exposed to schoolgirls' panties? Oh wait, I mean it's Japan, this one kinda makes sense actually. But the most important question you may be asking yourself is, why am I still not subscribed to this channel? Only 1.2% of you guys are subscribed. If you end up enjoying my videos, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It honestly gives me a lot of satisfaction and it's the only thing that keeps me going because these videos take a shitload of time and effort to make. Thank you a lot, I'm done talking, let's get back to the video. Because of the 7G explosion, Yoko never manages to come back to her hometown. So, a group of her childhood friends, Shizuru, Nadeshiko, Reimi, Akira, and this good boy, decide to take on a journey to find her after coming upon a newspaper showing that she's still alive, 2 years after the accident. They do not have much time though, because all of the people in this village turn into random animals once they reach 21 years of age. Weirdly enough, the girls are not the only people in the village that are still, well, people. Zenjiro is a train conductor that, although living in Nagano, managed to retain his humanity, in the meantime kinda losing his sanity, which, for whatever reason, he can temporarily regain for 5 minutes a day while wearing his conductor's cap. Admitting of knowing Pontero, this guy, and holding a pretty big grudge against him, he teaches the girls how to operate an abandoned train. And after they leave, he constantly communicates with them using Morse code in order to provide information while also helping them survive through the train stations that separate Agano from Shinjuku. Considering that the space between each of them has been extremely stretched by the 7G accident. Each station they stop at manages to be even weirder than the previous one. Right after they start, for example, they notice that the water level around them has risen enough to now cover the train tracks. Not long after this discovery, they're running for their lives, about to get swiped by a fucking tsunami. In the third episode, they reach the station of Higashi Agano. The people here seem to be quite normal. I mean, at least considering the state of the other stations. Yeah, quite normal looking actually, if it wasn't for the mushrooms growing on their heads. After a pretty warm welcome from these guys, the 4 girls quickly realized that there's something kinda off about them. I mean, except for the mushrooms, obviously. After a confrontation, they admit to have chosen the path of the mushroom that leads them to live an extremely nonchalant life with 0 worries that ultimately leads them to die in the span of a year or 2. Although 2 of the girls got, let's say, infected and started to grow their own mushrooms, Akira and Chizuru managed to resist and save their friends. Although like an episode later, Akira grew a mushroom in her ass, and once they ripped it out, she became retarded. Following the advice of Denjiro, the girls stop at Inariyama Park, searching for a doctor that could help them bring Akira back to normal. This station is probably one of the longest arcs of these 12 episodes. Basically, it's like a modern take on Gulliver's Travels. The entire city got miniaturized because of the accident. The girls attempt to search for the doctor, but end up fighting an entire army Godzilla style, only to get captured and tied to helicopters, like some sort of a modern-day Japanese Gulliver, if he was a high school girl. 2 other stations I physically cannot force myself to not mention are the one where people get turned into golf balls that now rain from the sky, and also the one where you get hit by a wave of inescapable itch that affects your entire body and stops only once you leave, if you manage to. As I already said at the beginning of this video, I love weird anime. But in this case, being weird is definitely not the only interesting aspect about the series. I haven't yet to finish this anime. As of today, I'm caught up to episode 10, if I'm not mistaken. I can't say for certain what direction this show is gonna take in the last arc. Are the girls gonna be able to find their friend? Will they find a way to revert the effects of the 7G accident and not turn into animals? The fact that none of these questions has an actual answer so far, in my opinion, is what puts this anime above many other recent series. It's not predictable. You can never tell what's gonna happen next. You know, for all we know, the next station they stop at might just be a corn on a cob inception. Or, you know, maybe they could potentially just fucking die. Other than for its absurdity and unpredictability, I'm having a great time watching this show because I absolutely adore those series where there is a group of characters that departs into the unknown, preferably on board of some type of vehicle, and has to make its way through a vast and unexplored world facing a new and exciting adventure each time they stop. The prime example that comes to my mind of an anime series structured this way is probably One Piece. The Straw Hats on board of the Going Merry sail the sea, stopping at the most random locations and explore them down to the bone, meeting new characters and living through the craziest situations. The train in this anime, which by the way is an actual real-life model of a train, the Seibu 2000, is so much more than just a vehicle. As their journey continues, the small train becomes a moving shelter for the girls. It's not that much of a house per se. It's loud, the seats don't look very soft, and the girls mostly just sleep on the floor. Yet, it's an absolutely essential companion that they all need to rely on in order to reach their destination. The girls have meals together, they laugh, cry and fight, all inside of this small train. A moving shelter that doesn't just serve as a vehicle, it also protects the girls from any outside danger. And it's not like danger is hard to come by. It may not be much of a house, but it definitely ends up becoming a pretty decent home. Let's finish this video saying that Train to the End of the World could be defined as a much scaled down version of One Piece. But what it may lack in scale, it definitely makes up for in craziness.